Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I am going to be doing my April wrap-up. I read about 26 books, so bear with me. There is a lot of books to go through here, and I'm going to be moving pretty fast. So just keep up with me and let's dive in. So the first 5 I want to mention are the 5 I read for the OWLS exams. This is the 5 list. I will link up in the cards my reviews of these. They are in a separate video, and one of them will be getting a full in-depth separate review. So if you guys are interested in those, go ahead and check that video out. They are Octavia Butler's Seeds of Harvest, The Trauma Cleaner, Leia, Lincoln in the Bardo, and The Sealskin. So yeah, now moving on to the next ones. These are in order of least to most enjoyed, so let's dive in. So the first 2, which are the ones I enjoyed the least this month, they are in a review video that I have of the Welcome Book Prize. I will link that up in the cards. They are To Be a Machine by Mark O'Connell and The Vaccine Race by Meredith Wadman. Both of these I thought were interesting, but not my favorite. I have predictions of the Welcome Book Prize up on that video, and I hope you guys will go watch it to get my thoughts. This one is also in that video, and it is, again, one that I enjoyed the least. This is Mayhem, a memoir by Sigrid Rosing, and this is also in that video of the Welcome Prize. Then this one, now we get into the thing that's kind of hard, because I had a really good reading month, and I think that most of the books I got were either 4 to 5 stars. And some of them, I think a couple of them were 3 stars, but not many of them. So now we get into which 4-star was better than which 4-star. So bear with me. Bitter Orange by Claire Fuller. I really enjoyed this book. I will be doing a full in-depth review of it in October, closer to release date. But this book is about a couple that moves in down below another woman, and the 3 of them become very immersed in each other's lives, and they are getting along pretty well, and then a secret comes out, and all of a sudden there's a shift within the relationship. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it, and it's worth a pre-order. Then a new author to me who I will be picking up more of. This is Megan Abbott. You Will Know Me. This is the story of a group of gymnasts, and one gymnast in particular whose mother finds out about a death and then has to come to terms with how far will she go to save her daughter and to help her daughter reach the heights that she wants to reach in the gymnast world. I really enjoyed it. It was dark, it was gritty, it was grimy, and it had a lot of edge to it. I definitely think it's worth picking up if you're in the mood for a thriller. I would say for me, I will be picking up more of them. The next one will be Dare Me, which was described to me as cheerleaders in the mafia. So I'm excited. Next, we have The Cactus. This was sent to me for review by Park Row Books. I really enjoyed this book. I read it cover to cover within 2 days. It was really fast and hard-hitting. It was the story of a woman who is in a relationship with a man that is very casual, and there's no strings attached, and she gets pregnant. I will be doing a full in-depth review of this on my channel, so keep your eyes peeled for that. She gets pregnant and things go from there. I will definitely be telling you more about it in the review, so when you see that come up, go ahead and give it a click. Then we have The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee. This was a book that I really enjoyed. It was blurbed by Karen Russell, Helen Oyami, and Hana Yanagihara and Kelly Link, all of which are authors that Hana Yanagihara I don't really have a lot of love for because A Little Life was not my thing. But a lot of people really love her and really respect her, so if you like her, good for you. But Helen Oyami, Karen Russell, and Kelly Link, I just adore. So this is the story of a woman who is invested in a lot of secrets, and she's trying to become famous in the Paris Opera, and she has a lot of background and information about herself that she has been trying to keep hidden from the world, and suddenly she is offered a job that would reveal some of her secrets, and only 4 people in her life would know her secret, and one of them is dead, one of them loves her, and one of them she hopes forgets her, and the other one, what was it? They had a way of putting it that just made it sound... One that wants to own her. There we go. That's how they put it. I really enjoyed this. I read it all in one day in the Dewey's Readathon. I will post my vlog up above. And I really think that this was a good book. I will read it again, I think, for sure, because I thought it was really beautifully written, really excellently executed, and I really adored it. Then we have The Gloaming by Christy Logan. This was a release that I was super excited about, one of my most anticipated reads of the year. I pre-ordered this and I was so excited to read it. I read it again during the Dewey's Readathon. The vlog will be linked in the cards. This is the story of Mara's life on an island where the people on the island end up having a less than fortunate ending on their life, and she really wants to change her fate and see how the world can work for her. It was really beautiful, really well done. I loved the execution. I thought it was stunning. I didn't like it as much as The Grace Keepers. However, it's really hard for me to compare it to The Grace Keepers because I love that book and it's one of my favorites of all time. This was not as good, but I definitely enjoy it and recommend it. And if I wasn't comparing it to The Grace Keepers, it would have gotten 5 stars, but comparing it, it got 4 stars. Swan Song by Carrie Andrew. I adored this. It was really dark, really twisted. It's about a woman who is going on vacation with her mother and she is failing at life. Something terrible has happened to her and she is trying to hide all of these bad things from everybody while partying and trying to forget everything, and life catches up with her and the world starts to change. There is dark, twisted mental health elements to it. I really loved it. It is the retelling of a fairy tale or fable, but I won't tell you which one because if I do, it'll spoil it. I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. So if you like fairy tale retelling sort of things and a little bit of magical realism and some darkness with your mental health, this is a really good recommendation. I will be doing a full in-depth review of this because it was sent to me for review, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Things are falling. Next, I have With the End in Mind by Catherine Mannix. This is a Welcome Book Prize finalist, and I have predicted that I think this one will win. The one I want to win is a different one, which will be mentioned later on in the video, but this is my prediction for the winner. I will link my review of this and the other 2 finalists, other than the 3 that I've already mentioned in the cards above. I did 2 separate reviews, 3 in each video, and this was in the first video that I did. This talks about death and the acceptance of death and what death is and how we are forgetting what death is in society and kind of just looking at it as this ending and this overall sad moment, when in actuality it could be a bonding experience and a more lovely and kind of time for family and friends to be gathered and feel sadness but also feel acceptance and grief without losing their ability to see life as a beautiful thing. So I really recommend it. I think it's really great and I enjoyed it surely. Circe by Madeline Miller. I loved this. I thought it was beautiful. I have not really gotten into Greek mythology since I was really young, so I had a little bit of trouble keeping up with all the names of all the gods and all of the titans, but I did okay once I got into the book and got to the point where I had been listening to it for a while. I did listen to this on audio with Libro FM, and I adored it. It was beautiful. It felt like fairy tales mixed with music. It was just stunning. It was a feminist twist on a smaller character. It's a story that takes place around Circe, who is a smaller character within the Odyssey, and it explores her life and her experience with life as a woman and as a witch. It was beautiful, wonderful, absolutely executed perfectly. A lot of people are raving about it. I adored it, and I highly recommend it. But so many people have done full reviews on it that I don't think I need to dive more into it. Heartberries by Teresa Marie Malhot. This is beautiful. This is the story of a woman with bipolar 2 and PTSD and her experience with life and what that feels like. I'm going to be doing a full in-depth review of this on my channel because it was sent to me for review by Counterpoint, and I was really, really grateful that they sent me this. I loved it. I adored it. It was a beautiful conversation about mental health. It was absolutely well executed, and I highly recommend it. I have forgotten to mention, and this would have been way back, probably closer to the beginning of when I started talking about 4-star books. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, I read James Comey's book, and I feel like there are some things that he could have apologized for, that he didn't need to do, that he decided to do anyway. I feel like there was a lot of angst and ego built into his book. I felt as though there was a lot of bashing of our president without outrightly bashing our president. So, you know, as much as I am not a fan of our current president, I wish that there was a more honest approach to kind of pointing out his flaws rather than trying to beat around the bush. But I'm betting you there's some legal reasons that he had to beat around the bush. So overall, I enjoyed the book. It gave a lot of insight into the CIA, or no, it gave a lot of insight into the FBI and history of that, and some cases that James Comey was a part of. But I definitely would say if you're not a James Comey fan, it doesn't really change your opinion of him. But if you are a James Comey fan, it's really interesting, and he is really portrayed in a well done light, and he gets to tell you his side of the story. So I appreciated it, but it was not specifically what I would love. Now, these are the ones that I absolutely adored this month. I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. I read this the day that they caught the Gold State Killer. It was dark. It was chilling. It was scary. It freaked me out. I adored it. I absolutely loved it. It was a beautiful conversation about the case and the people and the people working on the case. It had an insight into this killer that I don't think I would have had I not read this book. It was really bold, really brutally honest, and really well executed. I adored it. If you haven't read it and you like true crime, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Then this one will be in the Welcome Book Prize Part 1 review. This is The Butchering Art by Lindsay Fitzharris. Absolutely fantastic, brutal, gross, grimy, grotesque, and excellent. I highly recommend it, but if you have a weak stomach, be forewarned, this is not for the weak of heart or the weak of stomach. It is brutal. You get to smell the blood and taste the intestines, and it is just grimy. Again, the review will be linked a little further back, but this is in that review of the Welcome Book Prize. And so is this one. This is Stay With Me by Adebami Odebayo. You will notice that this is a different edition than the one that I prior had. I had 2 editions, and my paperback went with Amanda Center, and this one stayed here with me. I am very, very happy to have read it. I absolutely adored it. It deserves all the praise and hype it got. I'm surprised it didn't win the women's fiction last year, but what you gonna do? Beautiful, super well executed, wonderful story about marriage and childhood, and child rearing, and the inability to have children. I desperately adored it. Highly recommend it. Tangerine by Christine Mangan. I super loved this book. It blew me away. It got me into thrillers to the point where I wanted to buy more thrillers, which is why I had two others in this wrap up. One of them hasn't come up yet, but the other one definitely was good. This is the story of two women who knew each other in college, and they had a falling out, and one of the women moves to Tangier, and the other one follows and finds her, and nobody knows why she's there, and the story continues from there. I absolutely adored it. If you haven't heard of this yet, I would definitely pick it up. It is Alfred Hitchcock and Daphne du Maurier meets current modern day problems. It was beautiful. I desperately adored it. Desperately adored it. Then I was sent this for review. I will be doing a full in-depth review of it. This is Vox. This is the story of a world where women are only allowed to speak 100 words in a day. I absolutely loved it. I definitely recommend it. It's a definite pre-order for me. I have it on pre-order already. I had pre-ordered it before I was sent it for review, and I'm just going to keep that pre-order in existence. This was fabulous. I definitely recommend it if you're a Handmaid's Tale fan. I think I'm going to be doing a top 5 books if you like The Handmaid's Tale. I'll find a prettier title for it, but this was fabulous, and I recommend it immensely. And then the book that I enjoyed the most out of this month was a total surprise to me that it was this book, but it was The Sandman by Lars Kepler. This is a book about a serial killer who is caught and put into a psych ward in complete isolation, and then one day his victim from a long time ago escapes and nobody knows how, and he is found on the tracks, bloody and bruised and broken and very ill, and it turns out his sister is still alive, and the police have very limited time to find her and bring her home safely. But why were they kept in captivity for so long and kept alive while this serial killer was in an isolated area? And so the question is, why did these two survive, and how did they survive while he was in isolation? So I adored it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, go ahead and leave them in the comment box. I will see you all in my next video, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.